This Gamescom edition of Unlocked is presented by Hitman Agent 47 in theaters August 21st.
What is happening, everybody? It's Podcast Unlocked Early Bonus Edition. I guess it's not a bonus because we're not doing an extra episode. It's just early edition.
It's early.
Early bird gets the Gamescom edition. This is episode 206 for August 4th, 2015. My name is Ryan McCaffrey. To my immediate left, you know her, you love her, Elena Yee.
Hi,
welcome
everybody.
back to the show. It's good to have you. And it's a fitting week because we've got some tech stuff to talk about between a couple of the Xbox Gamescom announcements. Windows 10, of course, hit last week. We said we were going to talk about it this week, but I think we'll just push that off till next week. We'll not only get some more time with Windows, I got my upgrade finally thanks to your handy article, which explained how to just skip the line and stop waiting for Microsoft to tell you it's time and just go get it. I did that. It worked flawlessly. Because Gamescom, I mean, we knew Microsoft was going to have a presence there. They'd said they were going to be showing sort of their big three that missed E3, that they intentionally skipped E3, and that's Quantum Break, Scalebound, and Crackdown. And we saw all of those and a bunch more. So there is a very long show planner to get to today.
Lots of stuff on the
full
agenda.
3 pages. So I wanted to start. So yeah, we'll talk more Windows 10 specifically next week. Perhaps you'll be available to come back talk some more Windows 10 next week. Short version for me, it's super snappy and minimalist, and those are like two of the key things I look for in any OS on any device I'm on. So I'm pretty happy with it so far. I know you were saying you were digging it as well.
Yeah, it's a little interesting, though, because I would have to agree with some people out there who've said that Windows 8 is actually better if you're using a touch interface, and I do kind of agree with that some. So for now, I've actually kept 8.1 on my Surface Pro, but I upgraded one of my desktop systems to Windows 10, and I actually really like it so far.
Nice.
I didn't know if I would.
So before we get into all of the Gamescom news analysis, there is a lot. I thought we would take the opportunity to, even though none of the crew is here, so Marty is working a graveyard shift tonight because the EA press conference is at 1 a.m. Pacific time, 4 a.m. Eastern. So odds are none of us are going to see it. None of you guys are probably going to see it. But Marty's going to be up as part of a team to help cover that. So no Marty today. He is hopefully resting right now because he's gonna need all his energy tonight. And then Destin is at Gamescom in Germany, so it'd be great to hear from him next week when he's back from his firsthand accounts of all this really cool Xbox stuff. And Mitch is doing his Dota thing up in Seattle at the Invitational.
International, I think.
I'm sorry, you are correct, the International. What's the Invitational? Is that a golf thing?
It sounds like it would be.
And then Finnegan was over in Germany as well. Yep. And who am I leaving out?
Jared is busy with
it's that kind of day. But I'm glad to have you because, of course, if this is your first time seeing Elaine on the show, you go way back with You go way back with me to the official Xbox Magazine days.
Yeah.
So plenty of Xbox street cred on both sides of the table here. You became, particularly after I left, you became the resident sort of honorable death samurai when it came to reviewing Kinect games. You would just take that sword and go.
I think of it more as that really cool guy who would just like in Vietnam would just like drive up and throw themselves on the bomb.
Right, just save the crew.
Just save the rest of the crew.
I will save my comrades. In any case, we'll have a lot to say. So let's get to it. We'll talk. Or no, I'm sorry, the predictions. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, all right. I said 3 things. Everybody said 3 things. I said I predicted Rare will announce a new Battletoads. That didn't quite happen.
Not quite.
But there is a Battletoad in Killer Instinct Season 2 starting now. So I think I get half a point for that. Judges?
I'm the only judge here, so sure, why not?
All right, half a point. So half for that.
I don't know if Marty would agree, but I'm gonna do
Resident
it anyway.
Crackdown hater Marty Sleva. I also said Crackdown gameplay will be shown, and I specifically said it will be announced as having a simultaneous ship PC version, and the co-op will have Windows 10, Xbox One crossplay. They didn't go that far. They didn't go that far, but we certainly did get Crackdown gameplay and plenty of it. I'm going to give myself a point on that one. Eh?
Sure.
All
Again,
right.
permissive.
I like you're a great judge. And then I said Quantum Break will be given a release date, and I went so far out as to even make a specific prediction of February 9th, 2016. I was off by 2 months. Turns out it's April 5th.
I think that's a half
a point. Yeah. All right. I agree with that. So glad to finally have there's a lot to talk about with Quantum Break because it's changed a lot.
Yes.
In good ways since we last saw it. Okay, so then we move to Marty's predictions. Inside and Below will be on stage and given release dates. Sadly, neither of those things happened, which is really unfortunate. I don't know. Below has been... I feel like I've been seeing that game since the console was announced, since the first E3, since E3 2013.
Yeah, wasn't it in the scissor reel?
I believe it was.
Yeah.
And then Inside, which I've, of course, talked about many times on this show... I'm so excited for that game. It's the follow-up to Limbo from Playdead, and
that game has been teased so
right.
long.
The official
I want it so bad.
The official reveal was E3 last year, and we haven't seen or heard anything.
No,
zero.
And even that reveal was super light on details.
Well, but it did show about, I don't know, a minute or two of gameplay, and that's because at first it's like, is this Limbo 2? It's very much in the style, the feel of Limbo, but it's a different game. But yeah, we don't know what it's about. We don't know how puzzly it is. But that first trailer was enough to just be like,
want it?
Looks so good, I want it.
Now.
We still haven't seen anything, which not only am I disappointed that it wasn't shown at Gamescom, but the disappointment compounds for me because if it wasn't shown at Gamescom, to me that says there's no way it's out this year, right? Would you agree with that?
I would think so. I mean, this fall is already pretty packed.
Yeah.
It would seem really weird, especially for something that became such a marquee title, to just kind of do a stealth launch for a Playdead title. Doesn't make sense at all.
I completely agree. So it looks like 2016 for Inside. And then, all right, Marty also said... See, he's been on this. He's been on this horse. Rise of the Tomb Raider will be delayed to early 2016. Did not happen. They said November 13th on the briefing, which got a lot of people in a tizzy on my Twitter feeds. Oh, they moved it a few days out of Fallout 4's way. No, they didn't. It's still the same date. Games come out on Fridays in Europe, so it's still the 10th here, 13th in Europe. They set a European date because they were at a European trade show. So I think Marty definitely gets 0 points for that one.
Are you just sticking it to Marty just because you can?
I wish he were here so I could do it to his face.
Oh, okay. I see how it is between you two.
I love Marty. And he also predicted that Scalebound will have some big MMO/Dark Souls-ish multiplayer. Well, they did tease that thing at the end of the trailer about co-op, about there being some extra people with their dragons in the world. I'm going to give him a half a point on that one.
Oh, sounds fair.
All right. So, all right. I've got 2 points, Marty with a half. Let's see how Mitch did.
Ooh.
Cross-buy for all Xbox One and Windows 10 games. Sadly, no.
Nothing announced.
Still hope this comes true. Viva Pinata is Rare's new game that would be the, quote, beloved strategy IP that Phil mentioned a while back would be coming back. Turns out that game was Halo Wars 2.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a stretch to call Viva a strategy game.
Well,
I mean...
sort of it. I mean, kind of.
See? You had the same reaction I did.
All right, sorry, Mitch, but I do still hope Viva Pinata comes back at some point. And Mitch also predicted a major Windows 10 exclusive to show that Microsoft gives a damn about PC gaming. Everything's cross-platform that they're showing right now.
They're
PC
still
and
pushing Xbox One.
All right.
At the front.
Mitch with the donut. 0. We didn't do so well overall, which these things we never hit. Spoiler alert, we never do well with these predictions, but they are fun to make. So
any points are good points then.
There you go. That's the final tally on that. And that's good. So let's move along to what actually happened at Gamescom with the full Xbox Gamescom report. Be right back. All right, news unlocked. So much happening, Ms. Elena Yee.
so much
I
came
hope you were
bef-
paying attention.
Seriously. So I didn't start checking our blog roll until about 8 a.m. Pacific, and there was already so much by that point.
Microsoft put on a hell of a show. 90 minutes. I really thought they gave a fantastic briefing. I thought they had a great E3 that was just no, it was very lean. There was just no fat in that E3 briefing. And I feel the same about this Gamescom briefing. They just, not everything was a AAA, jaw-dropping mega thing. There was, there was an ID at Xbox section, which just sort of went, oh, well, this PC game that's already out is coming, and this one, but they were good games. So I was like, oh, cool, those are coming to Xbox One. That's great. But I just thought there was nothing in this conference that I went, that's dumb or whatever.
I will say that they are being really good about honing what they're telling people,
the
right?
message.
There's no more of this kind of waffling about. It's just, here you go. Here's what you can expect.
It's a much more confident Xbox now under Phil Spencer.
Yeah,
I think it's fair to say.
It reminds me much more of what it was like during the 360 days.
Yeah, totally agree. So let's start with the big one, and that is Halo Wars 2. This is a game that I have lobbied for on this very program, longed for, thought it would never happen. And here it is, and I'm thrilled about it because, part of it is that the original developer, Ensemble, you'll remember back from our OXM days, Microsoft shut Ensemble down before Halo. Like, they said, we're going to close you as soon as this game is done, which that's
really
no way to work.
Incentive.
That's no way to work. But to the credit of those industry veterans, they held their heads high and they put everything they had and they made a fantastic, I still feel it's the best console real-time strategy game. In fact, Brian Albert and I are one of our other big Halo fans, and he loves Halo Wars just like I do. This morning we decided, well, let's go back and play. Let's do a Let's Play. Let's go back and play Halo Wars 1 again now that 2 is real, to either remind people like ourselves, because I hadn't played it in 5 years, or if there are people out there that haven't ever played it or seen the game, show them what it's all about. So we've got we did a whole mission. One of the game's got like 13 missions or something. We did an entire mission. So check that out on IGN. If you just Google like IGN Halo Wars, that will probably find it rather easily. But anyway, Ensemble's gone, so who's going to make this? Creative Assembly. What do we know them from?
Total War series, right?
Total War series. They've got themselves a nice strategy pedigree. Most recently, Alien Isolation, which of course
completely different.
A little different, and most people love reminding me that they feel I'm super wrong about that game, and that game's actually really great. But which is good. So then you're going to be extra excited about Halo Wars 2. But yeah, so Creative Assembly, I really feel like, given their strategy background and the fact that, Blizzard is owned by, well, actually, they're not owned by anybody. They own Activision. Like, Blizzard does their own thing. Like, who could you get? Like, who's not owned by someone else that you could even sign? Who's independent and you could say, let's make a deal and make a Halo Wars game? I think Creative Assembly is the best pick out there. I think this is a fantastic pick. Game's going to be out holiday of next year, holiday 2016. And as expected, this is not only going to be out on Xbox One, but Windows 10 as well. Just kind of a no-brainer for a strategy game, right?
Yes. Did they also, refresh my memory, did they say anything about crossplay between the two platforms?
They didn't say it at this announcement, but I would be shocked if it did not have that. Right? Yeah. It's for, whether it be for co-op or for the competitive play that I expect it will have, because the first one had. The first one didn't have a Covenant campaign, and the Flood weren't playable at all. You could play the Covenant in multiplayer, but there was no Covenant campaign, and then the Flood were just an enemy that you couldn't play in any mode. So I'm really hoping that Halo Wars 2 addresses all of that and has, if not a Flood campaign, at least a full Covenant single-player campaign. Kind of, the StarCraft model really fits with Halo Wars when you've got the 3 main races in, well, I was going to say there's kind of 4 now with the Prometheans in Halo, but Bonnie Ross, who the head of 343, when she revealed the game on stage, she did specifically say that it sort of continues the story of Halo Wars, which means it's set back further. So before we get to the Prometheans, which came around for Halo 4. So I don't expect we'll see any of that, but I'm really excited about this. You got to figure the PC version will obviously be tuned for keyboard and mouse.
Right.
But you were pointing out to me before we went on the air that Phil has said that keyboard and mouse support should be coming to Xbox One as well.
And I actually been wondering if this is actually maybe a hint at when we can expect it. It would be better, obviously, for people who want that, for it to come sooner. But I'm wondering if this is kind of hinting at when we can expect that to actually drop.
That's a good point. Because
this would be the best type of game.
The best vehicle to make that a big deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is a type of game that's always been designed for that kind of interface. Yeah.
But I will say, part of the reason that makes Halo Wars 1 great is a number of strategy games came to 360 at that time. There was like Supreme Commander, there was Lord of the Rings, Battle for Middle-earth 2, there was a Command & Conquer game. Halo Wars had by far the best gamepad controls. Like, the game was really super playable. It wasn't like a what's the word I'm looking for? Just making the best of a bad situation. Like, they were legitimately good controls in Halo Wars. So I really hope Creative Assembly doesn't screw with the controls at all on the gamepad side. Just leave them how they are. They're excellent. But this is going to be good. Holiday 2016. We'll talk more about what that probably means for the entire portfolio, for the entire Xbox lineup later.
So I should maybe save my question for you for later then?
If it's about release date.
No, it's not. It's actually, I'm wondering, do you think this also means we're going to see the original Halo Wars come to Xbox One as a backwards compatible title, or do you think we'll actually see a remaster?
I don't think we're going to get a remaster. Okay. But Phil has gone on record. In fact, he told me at E3 they're aiming for 100% of first-party games to be backwards compatible. So yes. Because, of course, third parties have to sign off. Microsoft can't just make every...
That's right. They released a list today.
Right. The third parties have to say, okay, I'm willing to make my game backwards compatible. But Phil has said he wants to do every first-party game. I would be shocked if Halo Wars 1 wasn't backwards compatible in the nearest future. And I'm sure when that time comes, it'll be a Games with Gold as well.
Yeah,
so
that would be smart.
Look out for Halo Wars 2. I'm so happy that's coming. Makes me so happy. Mirror's Edge, Halo Wars.
Dreams come true.
Dreams do come true, kids.
Christmas is actually real.
Now if I could just will a new MVP baseball into existence for Xbox. That's a bit of a tougher challenge, I know. All right. Scalebound. It is our IGN first game for August. We'll be covering it all month long. Jose Otero, Zach Ryan from our video team, and Lucy O'Brien from our IGN Australia team all went over to Platinum Games in Japan to cover the heck out of it, and we've got stuff rolling out all month. Our first thing is today, as we record this, and it is an 8-minute, actually it's closer to 8.5-minute extended gameplay demo from the shorter thing that they showed on the briefing. So I very much encourage you, whether you've seen the Scalebound video during the Xbox briefing or not, come check out ours. It shows a whole lot more. It goes on for much longer. And yeah, nobody really knew what Scalebound was, because all we had was that CG trailer from E3 of last year to announce it. There's like a dude with Beats headphones with a dragon. Like, that's weird. But it's a Platinum game, so you'd think, well, it's probably going to be fast action. And if you watch the video, our extended video, you'll see it's kind of an action. It's like got action RPG elements to it. So a little bit different, seemingly, than what Platinum has done up to date, which is traditionally just pure hardcore fast action games. This has some other little wrinkles and layers to it, and I think that looks really cool. So. I think epic is probably the number one buzzword that would come to mind when I'm seeing that game, because it's a big world, giant dragon with you. It's got an epic vibe going on for it.
For a second, I was like, "Do you mean Epic Games?"
Yeah,
I was a little confused for a
developed by
second.
I think it is Unreal Engine though. I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah, I
Just
actually don't recall.
All right. Crackdown 3.
It's like just destroy all the things.
Destroy all the things. Well put. That should actually be the tagline. I think you just wrote it for the marketing
I'm just gonna
team.
switch over to their marketing team now.
You might as well.
I'll just do all the copywriting.
Yeah, Crackdown 3, we expected to see it, and we did. We got a first gameplay look at what Crackdown is. Well, first of all, it's Crackdown 3. It had been announced at E3 last year, just Crackdown, so we thought, oh, it's a reboot of... Because it definitely evoked the first game, and definitely not the second game that had all the zombies in it. But no, they are going ahead and continuing it as the series. It is Crackdown 3, which I really like because it says, we're not disregarding what happened before. We're building off of what we've already done. We're not rethinking it with a new cool protagonist who spouts catchphrases or any other thing. Like they're saying, no, it's what you loved about the first game and maybe some people the second. We are continuing that. We are building off of that. So I really liked what they showed of Crackdown 3. The destruction. How that was nuts, right?
Yeah.
How like the whole city is just completely destructible.
Yeah.
Who will be the first person to destroy the entire thing?
I don't know. Do you think there's going to be like a speedrun version of that?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll have to get powerful enough, and then you'll probably have to get enough players. We see during one of the videos in the sort of the video montage of it, it's sort of a whole presentation. We see at one point 8 players on screen. So we know it's at least an 8-player game, if not more.
There's no reason why it can't be, honestly.
Right. And everybody had the same icon above their head, which leads me to believe that there's maybe it's a 16-player game in some modes of 8 versus 8 adversarial, which would be really cool. The beta is going to be in summer of 2016, which I think is a brilliant strategy because, you want to get a beta, you want to test all this cloud stuff, because that's actually a big part of this. That when they announced it, it was a sort of a cinematic announce of how theoretically the cloud computing stuff will work of 4 players all working together, and then the cloud lets you destroy the whole building. We actually got to see it in action in this gameplay demo. And that the cloud stuff, the power of the cloud has been really it's been a running joke for a lot of the commenters on the internet of the cloud is that's what's going to save the Xbox One. And we've seen cloud stuff in the Drivatars and the Forza games.
Right.
But this is, I think, the first game where we're really seeing the cloud make just a fundamental difference in what's possible on the screen.
Because you're offloading a lot of that compute power onto the servers.
Exactly right. And so it does lead me to believe, what if you don't connect to Xbox Live? Do the buildings become not destructible anymore? Possibly.
Or maybe they just scale it down.
Possibly. Also a possibility. But
tiny puff of dust.
Yeah. They are magically teleported to another land, but without crumbling. But I think it's going to be it's cool to see these technologies actually working. And you notice that Microsoft didn't make a big deal. They weren't exclusively through the power of the Microsoft Cloud trademark. They're just kind of well, yep, it uses cloud tech to destroy the crap out of the city, and here's why it makes the game fun. To your point earlier, they kept the messaging about the games and why it makes the games better.
And not even just that, but what I've liked about the E3 conference and just what's come out of Gamescom is that they talk about what the benefit is to the user, right? They don't talk about, as you said, it's not about the marketing speak. It's not about how excited they are for these things. They basically translate it to, here's how it's going to make your life awesome.
Yeah, totally agree. I like that it very much... the original trailer did this too, but now that we're seeing real gameplay, it very much evokes the first game, the sort of that nighttime Neo Tokyo kind of little comic book you can see a little bit of the black outline around all the characters. Just the whole vibe of the game feels very much like Crackdown 1. You see agility orbs everywhere to collect, so that's one of the best parts of the first game, was just powering up in all the different categories. There's just, there's so much to like in that Crackdown bit that including at the very end of the trailer, most people probably didn't even stop to look at it, but it shows, it's just there's that splash screen at the end that says, Crackdown 3, and then it's got the developers at the bottom. Mm-hmm. One of the developers listed is Sumo Digital, who is a studio based out of the UK known for doing racing games.
I missed that.
They did Outrun. They did the really good Sonic All-Stars Transformed, whatever the heck its actual name is, racing game with Sega. They've very recently they did the racing elements of Disney Infinity 3.0. And they have they go way back with making racing games. And so I would suspect, from this is just my own speculation, but it seems like Sumo has been brought in to make sure that the driving mechanics in Crackdown 3 are as good as they can be. And that's awesome, because those guys know what they're doing when it comes to driving games.
Is that how you're going to spend your time? Not destroying things, but just driving?
I don't know.
Or you're going to destroy things first and then just try to pop wheelies off of it?
I love driving in open world games, but in Crackdown, they made the move, when you power it up with enough agility orbs, they made the movement fun enough, the traversal fun enough that I didn't want to drive, that I just wanted to hop around and just make super jumps from building to building. So I can't answer that question yet. It will remain to be seen.
Well,
but
you can let me know next summer.
I guess, yeah. You can do cool stuff in the cars in the original game, because if you level up your driving ability by driving and I think collecting orbs as well, what happens is you'd get in a car, and then that car will morph to either level 2 or level 3 depending on your driving ability. So you can get in a car and it'll just instantly turn into this supercar if you've leveled up enough. So they do have a good incentive for driving. The question is if they'll convince me enough to use it instead of just Supermaning my way from rooftop to rooftop.
Fair.
Quantum Break being the third of the biggies.
Yeah.
This game's been laying low for a while.
Long while.
Remedy, we knew this, that these guys are expert game designers. Max Payne 1, Max Payne 2, Alan Wake. They're great. They make great games. Not just good games, they make great games, but they're a smallish team relative to modern team sizes, and they take their sweet time to make stuff.
They craft it.
That's a good way to put it. See, your future is in marketing. Why? And so I predicted last week that it's time to get a release date for this game. We got one. It's April 5th, 2016, which is that's 8 months from now. That is not a short amount of time.
But I wonder if some of that is just related to the fact that it is still going to be this transmedia sort of experience. So it sounds
possible.
like production-wise, you have to line up a lot more things for that to work.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point. The TV, so that's a perfect segue to the TV show stuff, which was announced in the beginning, and then they kind of stopped talking about it.
Which made me wonder for a little bit if they actually had axed that part.
Right, because as you noted before we got on the air, Microsoft had this big TV push. They were going to do Xbox TV, a bunch of shows, a whole Netflix type service, and then before it could even get off the ground, whoosh, gone. So it was a fair point. Has that part been taken out of Quantum Break as well? They had said it would go you'd play an episode, a chunk of the game, and then based on your actions, you'd get a certain episode of the TV, and then it would go back into game, and it would sort of alternate game, TV. And then after it went away for a while, so I don't know if that's still how it works, but we definitely know that the TV episode stuff is in there, and it's all on the disc. Or it's all in the original release of the game. It's not literally an episodic thing or a thing you go online to. It's all there. But they've recast the 3 main protagonists in the game. So it's I don't have their names in front of me, which is totally professional, I know. But
I don't recall them either. Sorry.
The main character is now Shawn Ashmore, who is best known as the Iceman in the X-Men movies. You've got Littlefinger is the bad guy from Game of Thrones. And then it's Dominic Monaghan. Was he Merry or Pippin? I can never keep Merry or Pippin straight from Lord of the Rings.
I confess I have the same issue.
He's the good guy's brother. So he's Shawn Ash. So they had unknown people playing the role, and now they've completely recast and reshot it all, and presumably shot all the TV stuff, which we got to see a little bit of in the video, with these actors, and it looks great. I mean, they look like they're going to do a great job. All three of those actors are good actors, and what this says to me is, number one, I wonder if they weren't talking about the TV stuff for a while because they were scrapping a bunch of stuff and recasting.
That makes sense.
But my other point about this is I feel like why would you do this? Why would you recast the roles with some more well-known actors? And to me, what I think is happening here is that Microsoft doesn't want an Alan Wake situation, which Alan Wake was a great game, reviewed well, people loved it, and it sold decently, but it didn't quite have that blockbuster, didn't quite reach the blockbuster status. And I think Microsoft is keen to try and avoid that with this Remedy game, to have it happen again. So I think what happened is Microsoft said, this game's playing really well, it's coming together great, guys. I think they decided to try and get it that extra notice and try and sort of take it to the next level by saying, okay, we're going to put more money into this game and recast it. Let's get some bigger names, some familiar faces. That's what I think is happening with Quantum Break.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, if you, just from the few people that I know where I'll ask them how they feel about Alan Wake, the consensus generally is, oh, yeah, that was good. But that's it. That's exactly where it stops.
Right.
It's not something that they enthusiastically go out to other people and say, you have to play this. You have to try this. It's so different and weird. Yeah.
I did a rewind theater on all that footage with Brendan Graber from our team. We just tore the heck out of it. There's the storytelling mechanic looks like it's going to be really interesting. It's sort of, you'll walk into a room and then there's all these little fragments of time that sort of play out in front of you. We saw a lot of Quantum Break at Gamescom last year, and it looked really good. I think now it looks great. I think it's gone. You can see in the gameplay portion of the demo, you can see a lot more polish on it, which of course a year will do that. And then the TV show stuff is looking great too with these new actors. And the fact that there's still 8 months to go tells, hopefully they're just spending that time polishing the crap out of this game and making it just absolutely super slick. And I think Quantum Break went back on a lot of people's radars today after it probably fell off a lot of people's radars for a while.
Well, nobody really knew what was happening with it.
Right. So. Exactly right. So April 5th, 2016 for Quantum Break. Homefront: The Revolution, speaking of games that went away for a while.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember what happened with this game. It was announced at E3 last year, and then shortly thereafter, it was being developed by Crytek. They had bought the rights to it in the THQ fire sale when THQ went out of business. The original developer was Chaos Studios. They were based in Manhattan. They unfortunately closed. THQ itself shut down. It was purchased at auction by Crytek, who owned the IP, owned everything, and they started work on Homefront 2, which is called Homefront: The Revolution. And they were going, and they showed it off. I got to see it at the Judges Week before E3 last year, and it was set in Philadelphia. It was kind of an open world thing, powered by, of course, Crytek technology. And it looked really good. It looked really cool. There were a lot of the sort of vehicle stuff that had been a big part of the multiplayer of the first game. Like there was a little drone car you could steer around, like with a bomb attached to it, and take guys out or what have you. And then Crytek, because this game can't seem to catch a break. Crytek had major financial problems. A lot of employees quit because allegedly people weren't paid for weeks or months. Now the good news is Crytek seems to have stabilized, but Deep Silver, who was going to be publishing Homefront, swooped in during that time and basically took most of the development team, which, by the way, goes all the way back. They were formerly the Free Radical guys, the Time Splitters guys.
Oh, wow.
So this thread on this goes so
you
far
need to do
back.
A chart
yeah,
on
there's.
this.
I know it does. It needs a whole like infographic. So Deep Silver, a lot of those guys left because they weren't getting paid. Allegedly, Deep Silver, the publisher, took them all basically and just opened a new studio with mostly the same people. And picked up work on, and Deep Silver bought the entire game. Sort of a, Crytek moment of weakness. Deep Silver came in and said, "Okay, well, we're gonna buy this, and we're gonna keep going on. This is gonna be ours now, not your thing that we're publishing or licensing." So Deep Silver grabbed it. They completely own it now, and it's a new studio, but presumably mostly the same people out of the UK. And here we are a year later at Gamescom, and Homefront: The Revolution is back. And it looks like it's still set in Philadelphia. It's still kind of open world. And it very much looks like it's still the same, continuing the same ideas that I saw, which looked like really good ideas. So I'm very happy that this game is coming back. We didn't get much else other than that. This was kind of its just re-announce, its re-coming out party, as it were. Coming out again.
Are you excited for it?
I am. Like I said, I liked it. An open world narrative based shooter is something I don't think we get a ton of. Open world games tend to not focus as much on the narrative. So if the story here is good about, Korea occupying the United States and this part of this rebel faction that's trying to take back Philadelphia, that could be really, really good. Well, we're only, halfway home? I think something, if that.
We still have to get to the stuff where I'm like, I have all this information I want to share with everybody.
All right, let's see here.
Okay, so I have a confession to make.
Do it.
I own 2 Xbox Ones.
That's not a bad thing.
No, it's not, but after seeing I'm kind of preempting you here, but after seeing the special edition Halo 5 one that's going to come out, I want to buy another one.
You ready? You ready for the new one? It's nice, isn't it?
It's so pretty.
The Halo 5 console, special edition console, which we knew was coming. Josh Holmes, the studio head on Halo 5 at 343, accidentally tweeted it out like a month or 2 ago.
Accidentally?
Well, I mean, he tweeted and he wasn't supposed to.
Oh.
I'm sure he did it on purpose, but didn't realize he wasn't supposed to do that. So I actually thought this wouldn't get announced this early. I thought they would wait till closer to the game's release to put this out there.
Build the hype now.
Well, because with consoles, generally it's if someone's got money in hand and they're getting ready to buy, you don't want to give them any excuse to wait. You want their money now so that they don't maybe change their mind later.
True. It's true, but I was talking to my normal co-op partner, and he wanted to place a pre-order for just the controller, the special edition controller that's coming out, and he was saying it's already sold, like pre-orders are sold out.
Wow.
On both, I think, on Microsoft's site and on Amazon.
That is
and
impressive.
That was maybe at 10 a.m. Pacific today.
And 2 hours later, like an hour and a half later?
Yeah, maybe like at 10 or 11 a.m. Pacific today.
Well, I guess Microsoft knows what they're doing. Funny that a big giant corporation full of smart people knows what it's doing better than I do. I'm stunned by this. But yeah, I'm really happy that, like you, the console is nice. It's sort of a white, silverish, sort of opaque, but not, but without a lot of like big giant lettering or markings on it. It's very minimalist, which I love that. That's the kind of design style that I tend to like in my stuff. The controller too.
So
You
pretty.
should just it's that chromed out, that blue chrome D-pad. Nice. It's a nice. I don't know.
I have the Call of Duty limited edition one,
Which I think is hideous.
It could use more color, shall we say?
Didn't you rip that one apart? Isn't
not,
that in like 17 pieces on your desk right now?
I'm not going to verify or deny what I may do to my things when I own them. But it's in one piece now.
Scotch taped together. I've seen that thing.
It's not. Well, that was because I didn't want the ribbon to tear. It's fine.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think this
again.
Halo 5 one is exponentially nicer than that Call of Duty monstrosity.
Yeah.
And it is, so it's a 1 terabyte, just like the Call of Duty one was, and it'll cost $500. So you'll get the game, the 1 terabyte machine, and of course the Halo 5, that sweet controller as well. So, and it's also out. It's out on October 20th, a week before the game is. So get your system, and then you'll be ready for the game's release.
With all your updates.
We did also get a new arena map called Coliseum, which we saw a bunch of pros play each other on in CTF. Just feels so good to see Capture the Flag in Halo 5. That was actually our first time seeing CTF. We've seen Warzone, and then, of course, Arena multiplayer in the beta with a couple of modes, and there's Breakout, but we haven't seen CTF yet. So that's just... CTF in Halo is like the instant cure for any bad day. If your day is going remotely poorly...
Unless you're losing.
Well...
Real talk here.
You start out happy, put it that way.
Okay.
And then maybe over the course of the match, things don't quite go your way. But, yeah, it's tough for me to tell. I can't really pass any judgment on this new Coliseum map right now until I actually play it, because watching a bunch of pros play it expertly is very different than how it'll play when I play it with my friends. It's just, those guys are on a whole ethereal plane of existence.
More things happen in the span of 30 seconds
Oh, yes.
than in 3 minutes with me and my friends.
But it looked like a solid map. I didn't look at it and go, oh, that looks like a horrible map to play on. It looked fine, looked fun. I'll be curious to try it out. It's not too far away. What are we? We're into August, so 2.5 or so months.
Oh my gosh.
Until Halo 5.
Already. Fall is coming on us. Review season is coming upon us.
Winter is coming. That is correct.
Fall is coming.
Speaking of tech, Elena, Chat Pad for Xbox One announced.
Yeah.
This was a popular accessory on the 360 that had been strangely MIA in the first couple of years of the Xbox One platform.
Well, I think that was largely because of how they originally positioned the console, which was, hey, we have the second screen experience that you can use, and you can use the virtual keyboard on your smartphone or tablet.
Right.
And then everyone protested, myself among them, and then they added in USB keyboard support, which had been weirdly absent originally from the Xbox One. And so then I guess they felt between those two things they didn't really need a chat pad. I don't know.
Turns out you do, because, nothing beats physical buttons of trying to hammer out a message to one of your buddies. So,
Although I will say, I don't know if I would get one, because at this point I have a wireless USB keyboard that works with it. So it's kind of the same
Strong
thing
call.
without the tiny, key thing.
Yeah, I guess the difference is, you've got to kind of have a spot for that keyboard, even though it's wireless, whereas the chat pad is just part of your controller. So there is a convenience factor there. It's $35. You can pre-order it now.
Ooh, that much.
35 didn't strike me as egregious. I'm okay with 35.
I don't know. You can get a wired keyboard for much cheaper.
I know.
And even the K400, the Logitech one that's really popular, the wireless, you can get that for $20 sometimes on sale.
All right.
I am the resident bargain hunter. Sorry.
Well, no, that's good. That's a good thing. So, but no, because you bring up a good point. If people are interested in the chat pad, maybe think about you can grab a wireless USB keyboard right now for less money and it'll get the job done the same way. I also thought about Cortana. We're going to get the UI revision.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't put it on the list here.
In Xbox One.
Windows 10, so the Windows 10 kernel, it's not really a kernel, but that's kind of what they're calling it.
Right.
The update is coming in November. They finally announced the date for it.
Well, did they say a specific date?
Yeah,
and I missed it?
I thought I saw it on the Xbox Wire that it was supposed to be November. The Windows 10 update is coming.
Well, but was there a specific day that I just totally
Not
missed?
a date, but just
Okay.
a month.
So
Before-
November. All right.
before they hadn't actually even given a month. They just said it was coming.
Yeah.
So that's when this Cortana stuff will be coming.
Yeah.
I was looking at it, and I don't know if I really want to be saying, hey, Cortana, all the time.
Well, but if it works well, it might sort of negate the need for a chat pad.
No,
but,
that's true.
But that, of course, is if you have Connect, which at this point, you got to figure only the early adopters have the Connect because they couldn't buy the console. Otherwise, most of the consoles now, I would, if I were to guess at what percentage of consoles are being sold without Connect, I'll bet you it's 90% of them. I'll bet only like 10% of Xbox One sales are Connect bundles.
I know someone who actually bought one.
The 1 in 10.
Yeah. When I asked him what bundle he got, he said he got the Connect one. I was really surprised.
It's great for the UI and for
current UI.
It's useless for games. There are no games, but yes, it is a handy thing to have. It will be interesting to see if Connect continues to be super useful on the new Dash. It seems like with Cortana it will be, because you're going to be able to use Cortana to do a lot of different things very quickly with your voice that even Connect couldn't do. So
I hope so. I mean, I don't know how fully Windows 10 it really is, right?
Right.
So you don't know how much functionality we're going to actually get in that new quote-unquote kernel.
Yeah. Well, as soon as we get it in, we'll be testing it with and without Connect.
Right.
So it'll be good to put through its paces. We're getting close. I can see the finish line in sight. Just a couple more little stories to cover, and then I want to get to couple of big ones at the end. So more games for ID at Xbox, which I alluded to earlier. Chris Charla, the head of the ID at Xbox initiative, went over City Skylines, which is a sort of SimCity type game that's already out for PC. It's a good game. It's coming to Xbox One. We Happy Few, which had a very creepy trailer in a good way, is almost this like BioShock meets the Joker, like sort of first person, strange, kind of horror element in the trailer. That looked cool. Train Simulator 2015, which I know a lot of people really super like, and the one that hit me right in the heart, just tugging my heartstrings. Ron Gilbert, an industry legend, the original creator of Monkey Island. He kickstarted a game a while ago called Thimbleweed Park, which is an intentionally old school adventure point-and-click adventure game, basically set in the Maniac Mansion era as far as the technology. It has nothing to do with Maniac Mansion, but it's like a 16-color EGA, very intentionally old-looking game, a point-and-click adventure game. So that's going to be coming to Xbox One, as well as, of course, PC. So that made me super happy. I don't know. I'll just play it wherever I can get it first in that case, because it's a Ron Gilbert game. If I end up able to grab it off PC, I'll grab it there. But nevertheless, happy to see that it's coming. More adventure games on Xbox One. Sony very awesomely through some support, and they helped publish, Grim Fandango Remastered for PS4 and Vita. And they're doing, also with Double Fine with Tim Schafer, they're doing Day of the Tentacle Special Edition. So I'm really glad to see Microsoft getting in on the old school point-and-click adventure action too. And Broken Age is on PS4 as well. It's not on Xbox One. So all three of those Tim Schafer games, glad to see Microsoft signing up Ron Gilbert here. And then Battletoads are coming to Killer Instinct starting today. You can play as a Battletoad in Killer Instinct. And Season 3 of Killer Instinct, the popular it's a little bit of an under-the-radar series at this point. Like, it's really the hardcore guys that play it love it, but you don't hear it talked about a lot.
No.
It's out there, and it's ongoing. So Season 3 is going to be starting in March of next year. So look for more Killer Instinct. As Dan Stapleton duly pointed out on Twitter today, the Battletoads are in every game now except the new Battletoads game. They've cameoed in a few different games now. I think Microsoft's building the sort of brand awareness for Battletoads back up with Rare Replay and
Which
Killer
is out today.
Instinct. Yeah, and we'll get to that in a second. And Killer Instinct season 2 out now, and what's the other game that I'm super forgetting? The one that they just showed up in, they cameoed.
I haven't had lunch yet.
My
brain's not
no,
working.
not Super Time Force, right? No, it was can't remember. Anyway, they've been in a few games. I think that these are all just sowing the seeds for a new proper Battletoads game coming from Rare.
And then Marty will just flip this table.
Oh, it'll
and leave
be.
the building.
He'll knock the camera over. He'll light the room on fire. We'll have to. I mean, it'll be a whole thing. So, we need Destin to analyze this from the Killer Instinct perspective, and we need Marty to analyze it from the Battletoads perspective. So maybe we'll get their takes on it next week. And then Bungie has recast the role of Ghost in Destiny.
I missed this.
A year later.
I missed
This
this.
is
news
super
clip.
weird. So I don't know if Peter Dinklage, because of course, okay, before Destiny came out, everybody flipped out because they thought Peter Dinklage was terrible as a Ghost. They thought it was very, very, just monotone, very sort of unemotional. A lot of people were upset about Lord Tyrion's performance in Destiny. And then the game came out and no one seemed to care anymore. But Bungie is having, they cast Nolan North, veteran video game actor. He's in almost every game. If he's not in the game, odds are Troy Baker is, and vice versa.
I was just about to say that.
So they got Nolan North to be the voice of Ghost for the Taken King expansion, which is out next month. And then they went ahead and went, well, let's just redo everything so that it's Nolan North all the time. If you buy the game new and start at level 1, so Peter Dinklage is going to be gone from Destiny entirely.
Just wiped.
Pretend like it never happened, and Nolan North is taking over as the Ghost, which is just what a strange story. How often does someone get replaced a year into that would be like, I don't even know what that would be.
Well, I mean, TV series do this all the time where like an actor or actress has to be replaced.
Like the Charlie Sheen.
But they can't like
situation.
go back and
redo all the old episodes.
They can't
like
do that. So this is
like,
unique to video games.
It's like 2.5 Men. It's like Ashton Kutcher going back and refilming seasons 1 through 7
Crazy.
of 2.5 Men and just wiping Charlie Sheen's performance from existence on that show.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. So this is definitely unique to this medium.
So if you're a Destiny player, and as I know many of you are, look for Nolan North to be taken over and see if you complain about him too. I don't know. Or if he does a better job. You hanging in there?
Yeah.
You doing all right?
Last thing, I think.
We're almost there.
Yeah. And this one's my jam right here. I'm all about the hardware today.
DVR. Subscription-free DVR service is coming to Xbox One next year. Our friend of the show, Mike Ibarra, one of the platform leads at Microsoft on the Xbox team, got up on stage at Gamescom and sort of walked through. You can record series. You have all this DVR functionality at your fingertips, and it works for over-the-air shows. I have an over-the-air antenna. I'm a cord cutter, so if I want to watch a network show.
Yep.
This can do it really easily for me, which I love, love, love this. This is fantastic.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's obviously some caveats with that, where you do have to have the Xbox One TV tuner or the compatible Hauppauge one that they were...
you do? I can't just use the tuner I already have?
Well, you probably have an over-the-air antenna, right? You cannot plug that antenna directly into your Xbox One. You have to basically get...
it is? Oh, I see what you're saying.
So you have to
It's
buy...
plugged into my TV. Oh, you're right. Okay, I see what you're saying now.
So for it to go into the Xbox One, you actually have to use a USB TV tuner, which basically, encodes or decodes. I don't know actually the proper technology behind it. It takes that signal so that the Xbox One can, process it and display it on your screen. So you do need that. That's a $60 accessory if you buy the official Xbox One branded one.
Okay.
If you buy the Hauppauge one, that one's I think actually $80. So there's no reason why you wouldn't buy the Xbox One version because it's supposed to be the same thing, just branded for Xbox One. So you need that. And the DVR function only works for over-the-air TV. That's all they've announced for now. I can't imagine that they would ever do cable, though, because cable is usually encrypted, and they probably have explicit deals with cable companies not to do that.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. I would think that would run into all sorts of red tape with the Comcasts and the Time Warners and the DirecTVs and the, whoever's of the world.
Yeah, and then... sorry.
No, I was going to say, this is just so awesome because Mike showed off, you can just go to record series, just boom, right in your guide, and then it's going to take that over-the-air show. And I guess my only question is, what are the hard drive requirements for this going to be?
So the way it works, I actually had reached out to PR before we went on air, and I actually got the reply. So thanks for that.
Dropping some hot new info.
Yeah, it was great. So I actually had been curious about not just the size requirement, because they had actually said on Xbox Wire that it's unlimited. So you basically have as much recording time as the size of the hard drive you plug in, right? So if you put in a smaller drive, it's external only. So if you plug in an external hard drive that is smaller, you obviously have less recording time. If you plug in a huge, beefy, 4 terabyte drive, then you're going to have more space for recording. I did get clarification on whether or not you need separate drives between your game saves and your game, the actual games, versus the recordings, and you do. Because which makes sense, because that's how a DVR works, right? Right, but I wasn't sure if on PC, you can be doing both. You can be playing and watching things off of a hard drive that's also being recorded too at the same time.
Right.
But I wasn't sure for this specifically if that was separate, and it is.
So you're telling me, I need a $60 in order to use the DVR functionality. I need a $60. I'm not saying this to complain. I'm just trying to understand.
Right.
So we need a $60 Xbox TV tuner, and then I do need to buy a dedicated external USB hard drive.
Correct. Or you can use one that you already own.
Right. I just need to have a dedicated. I can't use my 500 gig or 1 terabyte. I can't use my internal Xbox One hard drive. We got to have a dedicated external drive for this.
Correct.
Okay.
That's how it was stated to me.
I mean, again, it makes sense because that's how DVRs work for if you're with a cable or satellite company. They're dedicated, big fat, 500 gig to 1 or 2 terabyte drives. So,
right.
All right. Well, the good news is those continue to get cheaper. I mean,
they do.
The 2 terabyte, I can't even remember which brand I have now, but the one I bought, which I bought purely off the recommendation of Eric Newstetter from Xbox Live. It's already gone down $10 since I bought. I paid $100 for it on Amazon, and now it's down to $90. So, yeah. So it's you're probably looking at, and I got a USB, a bus powered one, so that I wouldn't have another thing to have to plug into the wall.
Right.
So I guess minimum, what are we probably looking at for if you just wanted to say a 1 terabyte dedicated DVR drive for your Xbox that you're willing to plug into a wall. So, an AC powered 1 terabyte drive is probably only $50-$60?
I don't know if they even make AC powered 1 terabyte drives anymore.
Oh, really? We've moved past that?
I think it's all 2 and above.
Okay.
I wouldn't quote me on that.
Where do they start out at then? Maybe $70-$80?
I would say you can get a 1 terabyte portable size, the 2.5 inch size hard drive for maybe $70.
Okay.
But the thing is though that if I recall right, this feature isn't coming until next year,
correct.
2016. So that means that you could buy your hard drive during Black Friday sales.
Strong call.
And then that way you're ready to go when it's time. You don't have to worry about, pricing as much.
Yeah. Sort of split the pain up. Maybe you get your tuner later when the DVR functionality comes out if you're
right.
It's a good
idea.
idea.
Hard drive prices usually always come down, so
of course.
It's not a bad thing to just wait as well. But sometimes you can get really good deals during Black Friday. So if you're in the market for it, I would keep an eye out for it.
I also liked that all shows recorded on the Xbox One can be streamed to any Windows 10 device. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. If you've got stuff on your drive, but maybe someone else in your house is using the television that the Xbox One is hooked up to. If you've got a Surface tablet or you're over on your computer, your Windows 10 computer, you can stream your show over to those things and watch over there.
And it's not even limited just to Surface tablets. I mean, it's
any Windows 10 thing.
tablet, so
yeah.
it could be made by ASUS or somebody else
Right.
as well. One thing I wanted to also add, because I also asked for clarification for this as well, is that you're supposed to be able to control this through like Smart Glass, but it said specifically in the language Smart Glass for iOS and Android. So I reached out to PR and asked if that included Smart Glass for Windows 8, and they said we had nothing else to announce at this time. So I think it's strange.
Sounds like a no.
So it could be a no, or it could be like it's coming, but if they don't, I would think that's really weird to exclude, that particular class, or if that's their way of trying to force people to go to Windows 10.
But the thing is, they have been really pushing Windows 10 everything, so
that's kind of annoying.
I don't disagree.
If it's annoying, if it's a no, that is kind of annoying.
Yeah. All right. Well, man, I think we all learned a lot. I did. I learned a lot in that segment. I was not aware of the dedicated external drive thing. So
that was my first question when I saw it.
Great stuff.
But I'm excited. I've never really had cable my whole life, so this is yet another way I can avoid having to get it.
Having to pay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. All right. Now.
Almost there, Ryan.
Home stretch. The last big topic I wanted to talk about. And that's, okay, so what now? I'm going to be like the typical gamer who I'm skipping ahead past all the imminent cool stuff like Forza 6, Halo 5, and Tomb Raider. But, Gamescom was mostly about 2016. Yeah, they hit Tomb Raider, they hit Halo, they hit Forza, but, the focus was sort of E3 was about 2015. Gamescom kind of finished the 2015 story and gave us a big look at 2016. And so I wanted to point out, I think we have a pretty good picture of what the first-party lineup looks like for Microsoft across, for 2016. And this is an insane lineup. This is a fantastic lineup. Tell me, you cannot possibly say that an Xbox One would not be a good console to have after this. So listen to this. So there's some speculation on my part in here as well. But you've got Below, which we mentioned earlier in the show, is a fantastic-looking indie game. I think maybe we see that in January, since it's been allegedly almost done for a long time. We've seen it many times. We could see that drop in January. The aforementioned Inside, which, again, I'm so thrilled about. What if that's also a Q1 thing? What if that's February?
That would be amazing.
Killer Instinct Season 3 is definitely March. They said that. Quantum Break is definitely April 5th. Recore, which was only mentioned, it was unveiled at E3. We didn't see anything else about it at Gamescom other than at the end when Phil Spencer was vaguely going over their 2016 lineup. He mentioned it. He said, 2016, this, Recore. So, which of course is the Inafune game.
Right.
Along with the Armature, the ex-Retro guys. So that's one to pay attention to. So they had said spring 2016 when they announced it at E3. So what if that's May? Cuphead sounds like, what if that's summer? The summer spotlight is the sort of the new Xbox Live Arcade, the Xbox Live Arcade Lite, as I would probably refer to it as. What if Cuphead is the highlight for the summer next year? Cuphead could be a great summer game if it's really not coming. I mean, we know it's not coming out till 2016.
That's a long time to wait, though.
It's a long time to wait. We'll see.
I mean,
who knows? Maybe flip Cuphead and Inside. Maybe Inside would be next summer and Cuphead would be for
I'm
Q1.
Okay with either of those.
Either way. Then, so that's the summer. And then, now September is typically the time when we get our Forza game. We alternate Horizon, Motorsport, and they've recent years been September games. But there's so much that they've seemingly slotted for the fourth quarter that it almost feels like too much, and so something's got to give. So I'm wondering, now, of course, I'm assuming that Forza Horizon 3 is a thing because of their pattern. I hope Forza Horizon 3 is real because Horizon 2 is amazing. It's one of the best driving games I've ever played in my life. What if maybe Playground is able to get it done a tad early and ship that bad boy in August, leaving Scalebound potentially for September, because they did say fall of 2016 for that.
Mm-hmm.
Crackdown 3 could be October, because that's probably going to be a fall game.
Yeah.
Unless, because they did say, remember they said the multiplayer begins summer.
Right.
So it's possible the full game wouldn't come out till spring 2017, but
That's a long time.
that's a long.
Though.
So I'm thinking Crackdown is a fall game. So what if Crackdown 3 is in October? Halo Wars 2 has been confirmed as fall 2016. That could be an October game. And then that moves us to November. Sea of Thieves, which, because Phil said 2016, he was part of the 2016 bit at the end that he did. Which was the freaking amazing looking rare pirate game, open world pirate game, pseudo massively multiplayer pirate game. Could that be November? And then the one that's probably close to definite without actually having a real date. We know Gears of War 4 is holiday 2016. That's probably that's the big gun, right? That's the November, that's the premiere slot game.
Yeah.
So look at that. I just listed almost I guess when you average it out, it's a game a month, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
honestly,
9, 10. That was 12 games.
I wonder if, I
that
don't
was
know
12
how
games.
done it is, but honestly, I wonder if we would see something like Sea of Thieves even earlier in the year.
God, I hope so.
Like summer.
That would be amazing.
Like a summer title, right? Because it wouldn't get so drowned by all the fall releases.
I completely agree with you, because I've made the argument on this show many times of launching a new IP in the holiday is generally a really terrible idea. So I hope you're right. But just given the fact that it was just announced at E3,
right? But we don't know how long they've been working on it.
We don't. But
I'm just crossing my fingers.
I know.
For you.
Believe me. No, I'm hearing your argument, and I'm hoping you're correct. But look at that. I mean,
no, that's quite a lineup. Let's put it this way. Between Sony's lineup and Microsoft's lineup, gamers are going to have a very good 2016.
And that's a great point. 2016. So this year, I don't think there's any dispute. Microsoft, the Xbox One has the best first-party lineup for this year. Sony, by their own admission, their stuff is further out. They had Bloodborne, which was a huge hit, great game at the beginning of the year. They haven't really had and won't really have anything else first-party exclusive-wise for the rest of the year. This is a great year for Xbox. But yeah, you're right. I mean, if you haven't picked up either new gen console yet, boy, 2016 is the year to do it. If you haven't gotten around
Even
to it yet.
Fall, if you pick up the Xbox One.
Both consoles next year are crazy.
We're finally coming into that nice sort of like sweet spot territory for the console life, right? Where people
the 2007 of this generation. 2007 on the 360 gave us Halo 3. It gave us Rock Band, Mass Effect 1. It gave us BioShock. It gave us... Wait, let's see. Dead Rising... Yeah, wait. Yes. No, Dead Rising was 2006. 2007, point being, was that sort of first year where everything, it was huge. So many great
everyone kind of hit their stride.
Yes.
By that point, a lot of people had let go of the previous generation, and we're kind of seeing that, honestly, already, that 360 isn't really getting a lot of new games coming to it.
Oh, it's done.
Yeah.
360's over.
But even though they said technically that the lifespan would be another 3 years after Xbox One's launch.
Well,
I don't think we're really
they're
seeing
supporting it, but they're not,
but
not really adding to the resume at all.
That's what I'm saying, right? So developers are pretty much at this point have kind of switched over.
Yeah.
Projects they started before launch of before the launch of Xbox One, probably are now coming to fruition.
Yeah.
Other developers are finally getting their brains wrapped around that hardware.
Mm-hmm.
So only good times ahead, I think.
Yeah. I mean, what a year. I mean, 2015, Xbox has an excellent year this year, but good God. Yeah, we just listed a dozen, good for one a month, 12 Microsoft console exclusives, and big deal things. So I'm very curious to see how many of those will actually make 2016, and the ones that do, where they're going to slot out. Because it traditionally, I hate to look ahead to holiday 2016 when we're not even technically in holiday 2015 yet, but Microsoft has traditionally kind of had a big game in September, a big game in October, and a big game in November. But when you look at this, if most of this stuff happens, they're going to have to double up. They're going to have, a couple of big games in maybe October or a couple in November, which I'm not complaining about. But they have such a rich portfolio here that they're going to have no choice, but they're going to have a just thunderous lineup. It's going to be great. So a lot to look forward to in Xbox over the next year and change.
So buy your pretty Halo 5 console now, and you'll be ready for next year.
Just fantastic stuff. All right, Elena, what can we spend our money on now?
Rare Replay is out today, and I am so excited.
Reviewed by Marty. I wish he were here. He gave it a 9.0 out of 10, and this is from a man who literally loathes the Battletoads. He hates them, and he hates their very existence, and yet the collection's awesome enough. He gave it a 9.
There's so much in there.
I'm just diving in. I've played a little RC Pro-Am. I just started Banjo-Kazooie 1.
Oh, okay.
I've got a lot to look at yet with this.
I'm waiting to get my copy, and once I do, it's all Conquer as my first thing.
You're gonna roll,
I missed that game.
The original N64 version. I'm gonna say this one last time on the show. I am disappointed that the Xbox version is not in there, because the art, the redo of the art they did, the fur shading, which it was hilariously called, but accurately called, the original Xbox version of the game looks incredible and still holds up. I actually asked Craig Duncan, the studio head at Rare, at E3. I asked him, why didn't you pick the Xbox version? And he said because the N64 version is harder to get, which makes sense, right?
Yeah, we talked about this when it first came up.
But I still, couldn't we have also included?
I would be down for the also, because I think the multiplayer stuff would be really fun to be able to take advantage of.
I would have rather had 2 versions of Conker's Bad Fur Day in there. And maybe we could have just lost one of the little super old games that no one's really going to care about.
I do think, though, that putting both versions in would require a little bit more work.
Well, that may have been part of it, too. They might have just been, we can definitely only pick one of these because of the resources required to get it on an Xbox. But, rest in peace, original Xbox first shaded version of Conker.
Well, it's also the censored version, so I think that you do gain something by playing the original N64 version, which is why I'm so excited.
Yeah, good stuff. What else? What else can we spend money on?
Summer Spotlight already. I didn't even realize. Gosh, guys, I've lost track of time.
Yeah, it started last week.
Lost track of time.
Several good games.
Out today, I guess, or tomorrow, is it?
Out now.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, so they're not doing what was before, was the
No,
Wednesday
there's no
launch.
Wednesday deal anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beyond Eyes.
Which we covered at GDC. We talked about it then. I'm actually going to review this game. It is sort of I wish I could remember the designer's name. I can't remember her name, but it's a fascinating game about, at least on paper, where you play as a blind girl in the game.
They showed this at the E3 conference, didn't they?
Yeah, and so it just looks to be a very original, very sort of rich narrative, and very
beautiful artwork.
Just gorgeous artwork. So I'm very eager to dive into this.
Yeah, $15. And then Boggle is also out.
Well, need your board game action.
$10
on your Xbox.
Mm-hmm. And then in the marketplace, we have the games with gold for August are Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes and How to Survive Storm Warning Edition for Xbox One.
One of those you should definitely make sure to play.
I'm wondering which one you mean, Ryan. Can't be the one that you reviewed.
I didn't review either one of those.
Didn't you? I thought you did How to Survive.
No, I'm not. It's not got my name on it.
Oh. I am getting old and forgetful. Excuse me. And then for Xbox 360, we have Metro 2033 between now and the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And then Metro Last Light.
You got
in the
2
second half of the
two
month.
weeks to finish the first one, and move on to the second one.
Yeah. Love those games.
Excellent. Well, we'll be right back. We'll do a little quick trivia, and then get on our way on this super long, extra badass edition of Podcast Unlocked. All right, Unlock Block trivia time. Make this quick. You guys have lives. You want to move on with your day.
Oh my
It's been a
goodness.
long show.
That's a fancy page there.
Sure is. Mark, I'm not sure if it's Patty or Patty, P-A-T-T-I. He is from down in Adelaide, South Australia.
Oh, cool.
Long way. Try to get him some sort of e-prize that's easy to get to him. He sent himself in an Unlock Block trivia question. You can just more for pride at this point.
I have none, guys. I have struck out every single time on this question.
At least you know.
Questions.
At least you know that Mitch Destin or Marty won't be getting any points this week. So Mark has won himself a prize just by having his question chosen. He's got to send me a good Xbox trivia question that we haven't done before, that's not super obvious or super hard. You got to just find that nice, happy middle ground where it's just a fun question, and you too can win some sort of Xbox prize from IGN. We'll cover that in a minute. Let's get to the question first, and that is this, Elena. Major Nelson, our friend, the community voice and face of Xbox, he, prior to working at Microsoft, he actually he was an extra in a Brad Pitt movie.
Oh.
It,
I'm just going to lose every single time.
so
guys.
I had no idea on this either. Just FYI, if it makes you feel any better, I did not know this. This is some Larry Herb trivia, ladies and gentlemen. I should save this for whenever Larry eventually comes on the show. Like, hey, do you know what movie you were in? He does. So, what Brad Pitt movie was was Larry Herb an extra in? Was it Interview with the Vampire, Sleepers, Seven, or Meet Joe Black?
Oh.
Any clue? I wouldn't begrudge you if you said no, because I sure don't.
I mean, I can still take a guess.
Yes, you got a 1 in 4 chance here.
Well, he's such a nice guy
He is.
that I almost kind of want it to be Seven, just so that, it reveals, something about his character we never knew.
Major Nelson has a dark side.
But I think I'm going to choose Meet Joe Black.
Okay. I'm afraid you will not be on the board.
I know.
I
have to keep up appearances.
I liked your logic, though. It's Sleepers. He had a non-speaking role as a scorekeeper in a football scene. So, Mark, great question. You stumped us both.
What did you originally guess?
I probably would have not guessed Sleepers. I probably would have said... I probably wouldn't have said Interview with the Vampire. I doubt I would have said Seven, but I think I probably would have gone with Meet Joe Black, too.
All right,
actually.
Cool. At least I'm not alone.
If you'd like to win a prize, simply by having your question chosen, send your Xbox-related trivia question along with 4 multiple-choice answers. Please note the correct one, and send that to unlocked@ign.com. Okay, it's only been an hour and 20 or so minute show. I think it's about time we get on out of here. Elena, what can you plug? Where can we see what you're up to? Follow what you're up to.
Well,
plug some stuff.
You can find me on Twitter. I am at MorphingBall. As for stuff on the site, I've been just doing a ton of Windows 10 content.
Yes.
So I did a walkthrough of the Xbox app, also how to stream your games from Xbox One to Windows 10 PC, and also, as you noted earlier in the show, there's a feature on how to skip that reservation system line.
Is there still a line at this point after?
So Microsoft sent out an email to everyone who signed up, including myself, because I actually upgraded on a different desktop than I reserved it for. And they said that the wait would be anywhere from a few days to a few weeks.
Wow. Okay, so your article's still super relevant.
Yes, at least for a few more weeks, or a couple more weeks.
Nice. What's the easiest way to find it? Just Google IGN Windows 10 upgrade or something?
Or the skipping the wait one is actually called How to Skip the Wait for Your Windows 10 Upgrade.
Got it. Cool. And you can find me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan if you like the very nice t-shirt I'm wearing.
It's one of my favorites.
If I do say so myself, with all of us getting along, coexisting. You can see the link on my Twitter profile. If you just go to my profile page, you'll see the link there. What else? What else am I up to? I'm going to review Beyond Eyes. I don't know when it'll be done, but I'm going to dive into that starting tonight. And I'm eager to have a look at it. Scalebound is of course, that's our IGN first game for the month. That is an Xbox One exclusive. So hopefully everybody listening to this show will be interested in checking out what we have. Again, our first piece of content that launched today is the extended demo. It's about an 8.5-minute extended gameplay video of the game in action. It's pre-alpha gameplay, but it gives you a really good idea of what to expect. We'll have a lot more behind-the-scenes stuff and a lot more as the month rolls on. Generally, we tend to roll out Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Gamescom makes it a little weird this week. We'll have a huge sort of magazine cover story style preview up tomorrow, which is Wednesday, as you guys hear this possibly today for you if you're listening on Wednesday. But yeah, just keep an eye on IGN. There'll be Scalebound stuff happening all month long. And what else can I say? IGN Prime. That's a good thing, too. $30 for a year. IGN.com/Prime is the site to go to. You'll no longer see, if you sign up, you won't see any ads before videos, ads on the site. It just it's a much nicer IGN browsing and viewing experience. Helps keep the lights on here, helps us keep doing Podcast Unlocked each and every week, helps keep me employed.
And you get free games.
That's true. That is true. Occasional beta invites to things, so that's always good. And I guess I've got one other little side project thing I'm cooking up, but it's not officially done out yet, so I'll wait till next week to mention that.
Still in the oven?
Yeah, kind of. It's cooling. It's cooling on the rack.
On the rack, okay.
On the rack on top of the oven right now. But I'll be eager to share that with everybody when I get a chance. So, Elena, thank you very much for hanging out and playing co-pilot and keeping me from just smashing the plane into the mountain. I do appreciate it.
Pull up.
For the love of God, just stop what you're doing and pull up immediately. But yes, Elena Yee, our fantastic tech editor, and again, my former OXM colleague. We are united once again.
Yeah.
Always good to see you. My name is Ryan McCaffrey. On behalf of the lazy, totally loserish Marty Sleva, Mitch. No, they're all out working. They're doing a good job. Marty, Mitch Destin, Sean Finnegan. Love you guys. We'll hopefully see you back next week. Most of you get the show on iTunes. You just search Podcast Unlocked, and you can subscribe very easily to get the show fed right to you automatically. If you want to watch the show on video, the easiest way to do that is either the IGN YouTube page, at which point it's easiest to just search for, you can just put in Unlocked and then whatever the episode number is, or go to the dedicated Podcast Unlocked section of our Xbox One app, the IGN Xbox One app. That's the other good way to watch it if you need a little more of this, which you don't.
And by this, for everyone who's listening on audio, Ryan is gesticulating at his face.
Doing some face. But yeah, thanks everybody, and we will be back usual day next Wednesday. We'll see you then.